Back home, thousands of miles away from the glimmering Paris streets, Edward Cross, Vivi's father, stood in his sleek office, his phone clutched tightly to his ear. The news of the stolen earrings had reached him earlier that morning. The moment his assistant uttered the words "gone" and her mother's, something in him stirred, a quiet guilt he rarely allowed himself to feel. He turned away from his floor-to-ceiling windows and pressed a button on his landline. "Get me Dorian Fox. Now!" Within an hour, a secure video call blinked to life. On the screen, Dorian appeared, still in his travel coat, coffee in hand, looking mildly amused. "This must be serious," Dorian said. "You never call unless it's an emergency or a birthday you forgot." Edward didn't smile. "It's about Vivi. She's in Paris and someone stole the earrings." Dorian's brow lifted. "The earrings?" "Yes. Those earrings," Edward said, his voice lower now. "The ones her mother gave her. I didn't think they'd ever mean that much to her. But she's been wearing them constantly since she was 5. Dorian softened, nodding slowly. "You never told her the full story, did you?" Edward looked away. "It's complicated. It always is." He turned back. "Dorian, I need a favor. I know you're on leave, but I need someone I trust. Someone who won't let this become a circus." Dorian leaned back in his chair, serious now. "You want me to go to Paris? Please, keep her safe. And try to get the earrings back. They're all she has left of her mother." There was a pause. Dorian finally said, "All right. For her, and for you." As the screen went dark, Edward sat still for a moment. He had done all he could for now, and in his heart, he knew Dorian would not fail. Back at the hotel, the girls huddled near the stairwell, plotting their course. June held a notepad. "Okay, 3 things to check: cupboards, hall cameras, and maybe chat with the housekeeping staff." "I'll charm them," Vivi said, fluffing her hair. "People open up when you compliment their perfume." June added, "Also check the floor layout. Find any dead spaces. Rooms no longer in use. Storage closets, utility areas, places where someone could hide or stash stolen items." They started by visiting the 2nd floor, the same one where they'd overheard other guests complaining. The hallway stretched long and narrow, with antique sconces and creaky wood beneath the carpet. Vivi leaned close to a cupboard with a tiny fridge inside. She opened it slowly. Nothing inside but a can of orange soda and 2 glass bottles of water. June peered closer. "Look at this," she whispered, pointing at a small scrape on the floor. "This door's been opened a lot." Vivi nodded. "More than it should have. And the fridge doesn't hum. No power. Fake amenity?" June mused. "Or access point," she added. "I mean, this hotel is old. There could be passageways behind the walls." Vivi widened her eyes. "Secret tunnels? Oh, I live for this." The duet moved stealthily, down the stairwell to the linen closet near the lobby. Vivi distracted the concierge by asking an absurd number of questions about bathrobes in different thread counts while June quietly tried the closet door. "Locked." She muttered, "We need keys. Or better, someone with them." June nodded. "Luke might help." On the way back to their room, the wrapper shimmered faintly in the low corridor light, like something from another time. Not the gaudy foil of modern sweets, but thinner, duller. It looked like the kind of thing a child might fold at a table while waiting for someone who never came. Vivi picked it up, and it just looked the same triangle that June found last night. They weren't wrappers anymore. They were markers. Not trash, but quiet symbols. Left intentionally. Messages from someone moving behind the scenes. Someone who knew the hotel's corridors like a second skin. Someone who had been there long before them, and who was still watching. Vivi was getting ready to the police station, but June, she jotted a note. Same shape. Same folds. Same wrapper type. Same silence. There was no way it was a coincidence. Someone had left them. Someone who moved unseen. Someone who possibly never left. And then her mind clicked into place. June remembered a story she'd read before. Whispers in online forums about a triangle ghost. A child who folded silver candy wrappers and left them behind like breadcrumbs. But the child was never real. It was a tale guests told after waking up to find their jewelry missing or strange footprints outside their doors. But what if the story was real? Not the ghost part, but the details. What if someone had been using the ghost story to cover up very real crimes for years? She scribbled again, this time in capital letters. Wrappers equals markers. Locations of drop points? Smuggling routes? Secret passages? She stared at her notes, heart thudding in her chest. The ghost thief wasn't a ghost. It was someone very real. And if these triangles were being left now, it meant the person behind it all knew they were getting close. That evening, just before sunset, Luke arrived at the hotel in plain clothes, jeans, a gray jacket, and a quiet confidence that made him seem more detective than patrolman. June lit up. "You came." "Of course I did," he said. "Curiosity's contagious." He handed her a folded paper. "Floor schematics. Found it in old records. There's a narrow storage shaft behind the laundry chute that connects rooms 204, 304, and up to 604. Wanna guess which rooms all the thefts happened in?" 204, 304, and OMG. "We are 304, June said. "Correct." June looking at her notes. "We also found odd cupboard patterns and disabled mini-fridges in certain rooms." Luke nodded. "There's also a staff stairwell not on guest maps. Hidden behind the banquet storage room. My guess? Someone's using that to enter and exit rooms silently." Just then, Vivi's phone buzzed. She read the message, then looked up with wide eyes. "He's here." Luke blinked. "Ooh." Vivi grinned. "Uncle Dorian. Game on." Luke raised an eyebrow. "Your uncle's the detective?" "Private investigator," Vivi corrected, smirking. "He once found a stolen Monet in a vineyard cellar in Tuscany. Wearing a linen suit and no socks. Iconic." Luke folded his arms. "Right. So less Sherlock Holmes, more GQ cover model?" Vivi turned slowly to face him, eyes narrowing in playful suspicion. "Excuse me, do I detect sarcasm in that adorable French accent?" Luke smirked. "A little. Mostly curiosity. You don't strike me as someone who roughs it in haunted hotels." She stepped closer, inspecting his plain jacket like it might combust. "And you don't strike me as someone who eats croissants with anything fancier than tap water." June glanced at Vivi. "Should I be worried or do I let this happen?" Luke raised his hands, grinning. "Truce. I don't mess with influencers who can cancel me on 6 platforms at once." 7, Vivi said, dead serious. Then smiled. "But I like you. You're unfiltered. And you're—" Luke trailed off. "Expensive. Merci." Vivi beamed. Just then the door opened. A tall, silver-haired man in a fitted navy suit stepped inside, umbrella slung over one arm like a sword. His eyes swept the lobby once, calculating, and landed squarely on Vivi. "Ladies," he said in a deep voice, "I hear we have a ghost problem." Vivi lit up. "Uncle Dorian." Luke blinked. "That's your uncle?" June whispered, "Told you. James Bond, but with better moisturizer."